Have you ever wished you could eavesdrop on a conversation with a millionaire? My name is Michelle Thompson. I'm a retired project controls engineer and business professor, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in this podcast. I get to ask the questions that everyone else wishes they could. I'm going to find out exactly how they were able to build their empires through automation and outsourcing. And I'm going to break it down in a way that helps you build your business to run on autopilot. Don't miss out on Automate to Dominate.
From author Donnie Boivin comes the book, How to Be a Success Champion, available on Amazon. After years of living other people's dreams, author Donnie Boivin decided to jump out on his own and start a business, thinking it would be easy. Instead, he had a rude awakening and quickly understood that he had spent 20 years being an employee and had no idea how to be a business owner. His business was tanking, and he was on the brink of losing everything when he decided to fight for business freedom. In this must-read and life-changing book, author Donnie Boivin shares with readers his story intermingled with lessons learned from his mistakes and his failures. In How to Be a Success Champion, you will find advice the author received from mentors and how he went from zero to a six-figure business. The author walks you through the steps of how to get out of your own way, how to play the game of business and win, find your strengths, how to network effectively, how to build a personal brand, how to create champions for your business, how to get great at sales, how to take complete ownership of you and your business. How to Be a Success Champion from author Donnie Boivin, available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback editions. Order your copy right now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Automate to Dominate. Today we have Kathryn Jones, and she is just crazy good. I mean, she has shared the stage with Russel Bronson and Tony Robbins. She's a published author. She's got like way more accolades than you could ever possibly imagine. In fact, check out the bio because it's all in there. And I didn't want to trip over and embarrass myself, you know. So, Kathryn, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, I was just telling Michelle, you guys before, the fact that this is called Automate to Dominate, literally my soul's never been more happy to be a place in my whole life. This is just, you people get me. You are my humans, and it's just amazing.
So that's exactly what we're going to I'm going to try and pick your brain as much as humanly possible. Okay, so you are like the, design gorgeous funnels and then bring a whole bunch of money in girl.
Yes.
So tell us, how in the world did you start in that? How did you stumble into it? How'd that happen?
What a crazy thing, huh? Honestly, it's always a crazy story how anybody ever gets started on the internet. I had no idea entrepreneurship was a thing. I just it wasn't even on my horizon. I was studying film in school, and I went on a mission trip for my church. I lived in LA for like a year and a half. And I got to see the great parts of film and the terrible parts of film. And I just became totally disenchanted with it. But I came back and I already had 3.5 years of college underneath my belt, so I went to and I had no idea what I wanted to do, which is just so terrifying. But literally I get annoyed with myself. I'm the reason why the stereotypes around millennials exist. Cause I came home and I was like, I just want to help people. I'm so annoyed. I hate myself. It's I'm annoyed to myself, I just want to apologize on behalf of my generation. That's me. I was the one that perpetuated that. So I was like, I don't know what I do and do. I just want to help people. And I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that looked like. But the only idea that I came up with was, I feel like it might be easier to help people if I had some cash, if I had money. So I started reading personal finance books, which led me to investment books, which led me to self-help books, which eventually people started to email market me and sell me courses. And I just became obsessed with this world. And so I was just totally obsessed, but also at the same time, so I actually come from a family of 8. I'm the second oldest of 8 kids. God bless my mom. She was pregnant for all the 90s. And I loved my family. Oh my gosh. And I adore my mom. She's actually maybe the coolest woman I've ever met in my life. But I always knew I wanted my life to look a little bit different from hers. But I didn't even know what that looked like. Was it even possible to have significant impact inside of your home while simultaneously having significant impact outside of your home? Was that even a thing? And when I started to discover this world of online marketing, I was like, oh my gosh, I think if I'm just not an idiot about this, then maybe this is a possibility. Maybe it is, I don't know. And so I started to get deeper and deeper and deeper into this, which led me to automation and funnels. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my, like that's how you win. Like win, that's how you win. Like you set up systems. Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, like that's how I can be one day like a super present wife and mother and also have significant impact on like masses of people. It's like I have to learn how to automate systems, and I have to learn how to get out of this game of trading time for money. And once that clicked for me, it was like, we thought we were obsessed before. It was like, like next level. And so literally this concept of automation, which automation literally means to set up systems that, or automation literally means to have no or little human contact with it to get a task done. No or little, right? So I started to apply this whole concept of automation to more than just business. But how could I infiltrate this through my entire life so that I was no longer doing any task twice? That wasn't like 100% essential for Kathryn to do. So this looked for in my business, it was like anything from like answering emails, answering Facebook messages, back-end tech stuff, even a lot of like video editing. Like I was doing all my video editing for forever. And that was a prideful thing too. I was like, nobody knows how to do this as well as me. And it's like, actually, Kathryn, you're actually prideful. So yes, they can, and they can do better, right? So like that's
like all of us as entrepreneurs though, right? We never want to get rid of anything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My coach, she's amazing. Her name's Katie Richardson. And we were talking about funnels, and and I was like, Katie, like because I'm an automation lady, right? I was like, I don't know how to automate this because I don't know somebody who can do it as well as I can. And I was like, and she was just like, okay, Kathryn, let's just assume, right? Like, God bless this girl for calling me out so hard. She's like, let's just assume that you really are the best person on the whole entire planet, which, whatever. But she's like, let's just assume, right? And I was like, okay. And she goes, it's a little bit prideful of you to think that nobody could learn.
Ooh.
But I was like, oh my gosh, she's so right.
Right.
It was like automation for me. I got stuck in my mind there for a second, where it's like, go teach somebody then. Get yourself out of it, sister. So again, anything from that to where it's like, oh my gosh, like I can't, if I'm going to be serious about taking care of the things I believe I have stewardship over and the people I have stewardship over, like I have to stop doing my laundry. And I need to stop feeling guilty about not doing my laundry. Like, I can't do my laundry. I can't go grocery shopping. I can't cook. Like, I literally cannot do that if I'm going to have the headspace and the energy and the time requisite to build what it is that I feel called to build. And so, again, like creating things that get done with little or no human control has been like one of the most like fascinating and I think rewarding, not only tactics, but mindsets. Like, I think so often we think that automation is like techie, codey, when more often than not, it's here. When it's like, I am adamant and am like almost morally dedicated to not doing a task twice.
Yep.
Like I refuse, like I am so married to this bigger vision that it would be immoral of me, right? To go do my dishes.
Yeah.
And again, that's like an extreme example, right? It's like, listen, if I have a dish, I'm going to put it in the dishwasher. But like, it's like, do I have something that helps me clean every week? Yes, I do. Do something that does my laundry every week? Yes, I do. Because the time that I save and the headspace that I save, that's the biggest thing for me to do that. Is just monumental. And again, it took me a lot of time to get over that, where I used to like really guilty and like almost like uppity before being like
you were a snob because you couldn't mow your own grass.
Yes, totally. And it took me a long time, especially because I was like, who am I as a 20-something-year-old person? Like, I felt like I didn't earn it almost. Or I was like, how am I as a 20-year-old person?
See, that makes you the typical millennial, right?
Yes, exactly. I gotta get out of this. It's my fault. I am the millennial. It is me. But literally, I was like, oh my gosh. But then it really was like, I cannot do what I feel called to do if I'm spending 10 to 20 to 30 hours a week on tasks that really don't require myself. And so, anyway, yeah, but it really was when I discovered internet marketing, and it was like the first medium where I was like, if I learn this, if I can adopt this, then I can be a really present wife and mother one day and take over the world. And that was the first time when I even like was able to become like a feasible possibility for me. And it just like made me so excited. And so again, like, I think that's where like straight up level 10 obsession comes from, is like, oh my gosh, like this works. This actually works.
Yeah. Yeah. So you actually have a pretty bold tagline, right? So you actually, so you say, right?
Mhm.
Which I know you actually do because I've seen you do it, but you help people make their first $1,000 online and then turn it into, wait for it, guys, consistent $10,000 months.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how you do that with automation.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay. First of all, people just like, it just seems sometimes like impossible that is even like a thing. Like, you're like, what? Like, one, that I could make $10,000 online and then recurring. And then it's like, oh my gosh, get your mind in the recurring place. Like,
right.
If all of a sudden, like, you're doing 10,000 a month, you can figure out how to do 10,000 a week. Maybe you do 10,000 a week, you can have a $10,000 day. Maybe you have a $10,000 day, you can have a $10,000 hour and minute. And it's just like, it just becomes this compounding thing. But the thing that gets you from consistent $10,000 months to weeks to days to, well, it's all the same concept. It's all the same principles.
Yep.
And it all comes down to understanding what's actually happening. Like, what's the actual framework of what is generating this money? How do we build the machine? And it really is a machine. Like,
oh yeah.
If the traditional way of making money is trading time for money, it's, how do we just get somebody to do what I was taking all this time to do for me, and either pay them less than me, or can I find a software to do the same? So if we think about what it looks like to make money online, what does that look like?
Speaking my language, girl. I love it.
Listen, you're not. I'm telling you, you're audience dominate. I'm telling you, you're my human. So if we look at what it looks like to make money online, we boil it down to the very simplest principles. It's quite easy. It only consists of three things. You need traffic, so you need a group of people. You need a place to send them to, right? And typically this is a funnel or something that will sell them something. And you need some means of follow-up, which will then, the only point of follow-up, whether it's emails or text, is to turn them back into traffic again, which will send them to a funnel, which will follow up with them, which will nurture them enough to make them traffic again, which will, again, and it might send them to the same funnel. It might mature them to another funnel. But I have friends that literally have traffic funnel follow-up sequences built out for 7 years.
Oh my gosh.
7 years. It's insane, right? So what does that look like? Like, let's put that on the ground. It's like they run a Facebook ad, traffic, right? That sends them to a funnel page, which then once they get into that funnel page, they are now automatically for 7 years being nurtured on the back end.
All through email or retargeting or a whole bunch of things.
Yes. Email, retargeting, funnel. But it really, at the bottom, at the end of the day, it's traffic, funnel, follow-up. Follow-up can be emails, follow-up can be retargeting, follow-up can be direct mail, whatever it is, right? But it's whatever's necessary to nurture them to a point where they'll want to become traffic for the next thing and want to become traffic for the next thing. So when we understand that online business really is quite simple, and it is this like beautiful cyclical pattern, right? Where we can turn one-time customers into two-time customers, and three-time customers, and four-time customers, and five-time customers, then it makes things a lot easier. That's the first thing to understand. The second thing to understand is the difference between one-time payments and monthly recurring revenue. And I think like in our minds, we're like, well, yeah, duh, monthly recurring revenue, of course. But like until it happens, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm rich. Like, I didn't know, like, and not rich in the sense that you're like, I have $1 million, but like money, like rich, not only in money, but in sense of well-being and time, because there's no hustle to go find new people anymore.
You're not starting at zero every month.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And this, like, I don't know why this has taken me so long to learn, right? Where all of a sudden it is so much more fun to have, rather than have a bank account that's like spike, to have a bank account that goes like this. Oh my gosh. Like, this is the game. Like, this is where you win the game. Yep. And so what I would recommend to everybody here is thinking about those two concepts. Number one, are my systems set up so that people are naturally being nurtured to the next thing in my ecosystem, right? Naturally. Second thing is, how can I turn every single one of my offers into a monthly recurring offer? So if you're offering copywriting and you're like, listen, for one go, it's $8,000. It's like, okay, how can I turn that into a monthly recurring? So it's like, listen, you're gonna need $8,000 to get started, but for us to continue to develop this out, for us to continue to optimize it, it's gonna be $3,000 a month. Like, you need us, and figure out how to make that $3,000 a month worth it to them. Oh my gosh, it changes the game. because then you turn an $8,000 client, right, into an $8,000 plus $33,000 for the rest of the year, right? All of a sudden, in one swoop, you're making over 40 grand. You sell 3 of those, you sell 3 people on that, and you have a 6-figure business in a year.
Yep.
It's just like, what, rather than only leaving with $24,000. And so again, like that concept of like, if we really want to play the game of automation, it's how do we remove ourselves and get provide the most value, but also get the most money for the least amount of time. And understanding those 2 principles, I do like circles, and for those watching on the podcast,
circles and lines.
Circles and lines, right? Like, sorry for that. But those are really the 2 things for how you, in my opinion, are really able to take this hustle, agency, scrambling type thing into like a systematic, recurring thing. And and then again, it gives you so much more playing power to build and expand off of there, which is really fun.
Yeah. So can I break it down just a little?
Break it down now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. For 6 more minutes, I'm taking all 6.
I can't wait.
Okay. So, everybody knows, okay, first we drive traffic, right? And everybody's terrified of, Facebook ads. So get Russell's book, Traffic. It'll give you a million different ideas, right?
Yeah.
But then we get our funnel, right? How do we pick the product or create the product that we know is going to serve the customer and not just take somebody's money and run, right? Because we want them to ascend the ladder of value, right? And the higher they ascend, the more they're going to come back as a comeback customer, and like you were just talking about. So at the very beginning, how do we break that down so somebody, I don't want to call it a winner, but actually finds their niche and is be able to provide value of what their superpower is to the world?
Okay, such a beautiful question. I believe in it so much because I think so often, especially when we're getting started, we're like, we have to build something prolific. Like it has to be something that nobody's ever seen before for anybody to pay me any money. And I know I got stuck in that for so long, right? Where it's like, I can't go sell funnels. Everybody's selling funnels. Like I can't go do copy. Everybody's doing copy. I can't be a VA. There's a million VAs, right? And what is really interesting is that the only way that you are going to find the holes in the market that will allow you to build your prolific thing is if you are actually in the market.
Right.
That's it. So that's one of the most beautiful things about starting an agency type business. And again, we teach people how to design funnels that convert, like no coding, Photoshop, graphic design skills. I teach no coding, graphic design skills, or Photoshop because I literally don't know how to do those things. So I only know how to teach it because that's how I know it. But the thing that's really awesome about that, and what I tell my people all the time, is as you're getting started and you want to make sure you go out with a winner, oftentimes people will be afraid to sell their services or afraid to sell their products. They're like, I don't know if this is going to work. And what if somebody gets mad or whatever? Is what I tell them is I say, you can find certainty in the framework you're using while you're building up your experience. So for example, like design hacking, like the 6-step science design hacking, like it just actually works. Like if you want to build funnels, like this 6-step framework literally works. So while you're building up your resume and your repertoire and trying to find the holes in the market, just live in this space for a while. Become an epic design hacker. And then as you design hack, you get to start seeing other people's business. You're like, oh, here's a hole. This is where I'm going to start. And vice versa with anything. Like as you're getting started, like people deny themselves money and experience and opportunity and status by thinking they have to start prolific. When really they can rely on some of the frameworks that the other frameworks of other people while they're building up their experience. And then what's so awesome is that they're like, oh, not only do I build my stuff on a framework that works, but I also have experience where I've seen it happen. And then again, you can start building off of there until eventually, again, you're like, I'm going to create my own thing. I'm going to create my own movement. But again, we know the movement will be successful at that point because you played the game. You've been interacting with people. You've heard their pain points and start to identify their patterns. And that's how design hacking came to be, right? It was like, one, people kept not having funnels that converted. They were like, my stuff doesn't work. And I was able to identify that the lever was design. And so it was like, there's a hole in the market. Now, what's fascinating about this is this was a double-edged sword. One, I was so excited because my funnels were struggling as well. I was so excited when I found the niche because I was like, yeah, nailed it. Like, but I was also so sad because like, I don't know anything about design. Dang it. Like,
Now I have to go learn design too.
Totally. But again, it was this awesome opportunity where it's like, there's clearly a problem, there's clearly a need, and there's clearly an audience looking for it. But the only way I was able to figure that out is because I just started trying to help people. And again, that's not to say that you're not going to like botch it sometimes. I think that's just the nature of life. But again, if you can rely on a proven framework that like you provide, right? Like if you provide frameworks, it's like, listen, she's already tried and tested. It's true. It's just true things, right? Like I already have tried and tested, and I have thousands of design hackers that have tried and tested this 6-step science of design hacking. Like we know that this works. So just rely on the certainty of this while we build up our experience until you can get going.
So, before because I got 2 minutes and I want to make sure that we showcase your book and your course. So can you tell us about those before we take off?
Yes. So my book is called Automate Your Routines, Guarantee Your Results. And this book started so interestingly as I'm just getting frustrated. I was like, why can't I figure things out? And it was right when I started to realize like, oh my gosh, if you can automate, you can win the world. And so this is when I started to apply automation more than just business or more than just coding or different things like that. It was like, can I apply this to my routines? Like, can I have like a perfect morning routine every morning? Like, can I always figure out how to always eat healthy? Like, can I just like program that? And so my book, Automate Your Routines, Guarantee Your Results, literally takes the principles of computer programming and marries them with human behavior and science to figure out how you can actually program your brain. Anyway, so that's that. And then really interestingly from that came this whole concept of automation, automating business, and then learning that the lever to really change things was you need to understand design on the front end and automation on the back end if you're going to win. You have to have both components. And so what my course does is called CS Design School. It shows you how to build and design funnels that convert. Not funnels that look pretty. They do, but using design as a lever for conversions. Because who cares if you have something pretty if it doesn't make you any money? It's like starving artist route. Like I just like food way too much to go that route. You know what I'm saying? So the book will show you all about how to automate. So that's going to help you with your back end systems. The course will show you all about the front end systems, marketing, and getting people to actually buy your stuff.
All right. And so where do we go to find that?
Oh my gosh. Okay. There's just so many choices. Okay. Listen, if I were you, this is what I would do. I would actually come to my free Facebook group. It's called Design Hackers Official. If you go there, that's like the central hub where we all hang out. So we're going to talk not only about like designing funnels, design hacking for funnels, but and automation, but we'll talk about it for video or podcast or stage, or if we have a new app coming out. So like that's where we're going to be talking about that. So Design Hackers Official is where to start. But if you're like, holy smokes, like I need to know about funnels right now. CS Design School, for ClickFunnels Design School, CS Design School. I have a whole free training there that you can go check out.
Which is amazing, by the way. I can't believe you're giving that away for free because it was fabulous. So,
thank you very much.
So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And now that we're Facebook besties, I will, stalk you frequently.
Yes, come join the group. It's very sad. Oh my gosh. Honestly.
All right.
You guys are being led. If she's leading you in automation, that's how you know you're being led by a good human. I love it.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And maybe one time we'll weasel you into coming again. But for now.
I would be honored.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you for tuning in to the Automate to Dominate podcast at www.awesomeoutsourcing.com/podcast. My name is Michelle Thompson.
Hey guys, if you absolutely love this show, I would greatly appreciate it if you would head on over to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star written review. That would be amazing. And as always, if you guys know somebody who should be listening to this podcast, please don't keep it all to yourself. Share it with your friends.